The worlds quake, their first branch shatters. Women, driven by their craving for jewels, sow havoc. In the quest for more power and gold, brothers slay each other, fathers split the skulls of their sons. Blood flows at sacred song sites. For 3 years, armies march from battle to battle, with no time for peace. The immense ranks of the Einherjar trust in the victory of their father Odin. The dragon Nidhogg gnaws at the main roots of Yggdrasil, while deer nibble at the young shoots, and the Norns struggle to keep up with scooping water. Dry branches fall from the withered ash of Yggdrasil. Then, the Midgard serpent rises permanently to the ocean's surface, whipping up storm surges against the shores. Poisoned by its breath, the seas turn toxic, making the fish inedible. The Fenris wolf howls. The dwarves shiver in their caves as Loki writhes on the stone slabs where he is bound, causing mountains to quake. Sulfur fumes seep from the fissures. Extinct volcanoes spit fire once more. The mountains, once the safest places of all worlds, are now under threat. The dwarves, once untouchable in their stronghold, tremble. The skillful smiths cramp their hands. The stone-wise guards stumble before their stone gates, groaning under the rubble. The sun narrowly escapes its pursuer. Heimdall sleeps only half an eagle's call at night, and his call echoes late or barely across the worlds. 3 hard, long winters follow one another, without a summer in between. Storms from all directions drive snow, burying the last tufts of grass. People fight each other more mercilessly than ever. The Spear and Sword River in the east separates life from the realm of the dead, yet it does not freeze over, even in high water. The Fenris wolf tugs at its bonds, causing the earth to rumble and leaves to clatter off the trees. Loki writhes on his stone slabs, breaking mountains, uprooting trees, and causing rocks to crash down in thunderous noise. Loki shakes the earth until all bonds are broken, freeing the Fenris wolf. It heads for the battlefield, 100 times 100 miles wide, and opens its mouth wide. Its lower jaw scrapes the earth, the upper reaches the heavens. If there were more space, it would open its maw even wider. Fire burns in its eyes, sparks fly from its nostrils. The Midgard serpent slithers onto the land, spewing so much poison from its giant spine that it sprays air and sea alike. The water turns putrid, poisonous vapors float on the waves. With the storm surges, it stirs up. The world's enemy approaches the great battlefield. With the flood comes Naglfar, the ship made from the nails of the dead, bringing enemies from the land of hell. Its keel swiftly plows through the sea from the east, with Loki as the helmsman. And Garm, the dog at the entrance to the realm of the dead, rushes along. Now Skull devours the sun, and Hati the moon. Stars leap from their orbits, wandering through space, or crashing onto land, or into the sea. In this moment, the sky splits, and Muspel's forces ride forth, led by the fire giant Surtur, whose sword burns brighter than the sun. They charge over Bifrost, but the bridge collapses beneath them. Muspel's hosts swim through rivers and reach the battlefield as the second great army. The frost giants, mountain giants, and other enemies from Utgard form the third great army. All enemies of the gods and humans form up, the world ash. Yggdrasil trembles, stronger branches break, and no inhabitant of the worlds remains fearless. The Asgardians arm themselves, seizing their weapons. Odin opens the 540 gates of Valhalla, and from each gate 800 Einherjar pour forth. Well equipped, the immense army advances to the field. Odin rides at the head of the gods on his 8-legged horse Sleipnir, adorned with a golden helmet, shining armor, and his spear Gungnir. By his side, Thor rides in his chariot, drawn by goats, wearing the belt of strength, iron gloves, and wielding Mjolnir. Following them are Heimdall on Gulltoppr, Tyr with his bristle-backed boar, and the other gods. The All-Father rides towards his old enemy, the Fenris wolf, who seeks revenge for his bondage and attacks Odin with a thirst for battle. Thor cannot aid Odin, as the Midgard serpent spits poison at him, and their third encounter culminates in their demise. Surtur attacks, drawing his fire sword against the peace-loving Freyr. Armed only with a stag's antler, Freyr struggles against Surtur's flames and falls as one of the first. His regret for gifting his self-swinging sword to Skirnir for the love of the beautiful Gerd now comes back to haunt him. Garm and Tyr clash, with the god fighting with his sword in his left hand against the most fearsome of all hounds. Perhaps Tyr is at a disadvantage without his stronger right hand. Neither can defeat the other, so they inflict mortal wounds on each other and perish. Heimdall and Loki furiously engage each other, continuing their fight as if they were still in their hound forms on the Bifrost Bridge. Loki directs all the rage accumulated during his imprisonment against the suspicious guardian, whom he views as the instigator of the god's downfall. Each has harbored such long-standing hatred towards the other that only the death of the other can quell it. Their swords clash so fiercely that the ground rumbles and sparks fly. Eventually, one kills the other. The Midgard serpent spits poison at Thor, creating space on the battlefield. Thor hurls Mjolnir 3 times at the world's enemy, striking her down. With a burnt shield and a glowing iron glove, Thor, facing the fight, steps back 9 steps and then falls, poisoned by the serpent. Odin fights the longest against the mightiest foe. He throws Gungnir at the Fenris wolf, inflicting wounds but unable to kill it. The Fenris wolf opens its jaws so wide that they touch heaven and earth, and swallows the All-Father. Now, Thor's sons, Modi and Magni, surge forward and reclaim Mjolnir. But even Odin's sons, Vidar and Vali, cannot halt the downfall of Asgard and Midgard. However, Vidar possesses a massive shoe, made from the leather scraps left over from shoemaking. This shoe is as sturdy as iron, and has the power to keep the Fenris wolf's jaws open. Vidar places it in the beast's mouth, grabs the upper jaw with one hand, and tears its mouth apart, avenging his father. Nothing is reported of the Einherjar's deeds. Were Odin's preparations in vain? Then Surtur hurls his fiery sword over the earth. Midgard is engulfed in flames. All worlds burn. Gold treasures melt and evaporate. The world tree Yggdrasil crashes down. Asgard burns to the ground. The throne Lidschalf breaks. The sons of Odin and Thor retreat behind the strongest walls of Asgard. Perhaps the Einherjar shield this place and the world ash. Its stump does not burn out. The sun turns black. The earth slowly sinks into the sea. Fire and smoke billow up to the heavens.